Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Bloomington Buddies, where one buddy talks about sports because Eddie doesn't have a very good sleep schedule, but it is finals week, and he actually was studying, so we're gonna give him a pass there. But you know what? I kind of wanted to actually round out this. I wanted to round out this semester with an episode, give y'all something for over break. So there will be no episodes until classes start back up second semester, January 7th or 6th. So we should have one that week. But there will be no actual recording in the studio over winter break because no one will be here. I learned this, half of the population of Bloomington, Indiana, half of the population is people that go to IU. And they're all about to be gone at their houses for Christmas break. So no one's going to be here. I actually learned you have to, pay more to, stay over break. It's $200 if you're, staying in a dorm as, a freshman.
Yeah, I think that is the policy just because, like you said, nobody's here, you know?
It's going to be weird. But what we got on the dock is we got to talk about the World Cup. We're down to 4 teams. And really, no one thought any of these 4 would. Okay, 2 of these 4 people thought would make it, but the other 2 are teams no one thought would make it. And then we'll talk about some college basketball and maybe preview some of the little bowl games, because if we're being completely honest, sometimes the little bowls are the most fun to watch because it's 2 6-6 teams who are just playing their ass off, running trick plays in the Bahamas Bowl. It's fun. So I think there are some good little games. Bowl games start Friday, December 16th with Miami and UAB, Miami of Ohio, because Miami, Florida didn't make a bowl game. And UTSA plays Troy, so we'll talk about those games. But let's get it started with the World Cup. So what happened in the quarterfinals? Well, so I think the quarterfinals is where we left off. The 8 teams that were left were Croatia, Brazil, Netherlands, Argentina, Morocco, Portugal, England, and France. And all of these games, all 4, were either 1-goal games or went to a penalty shootout. They were all great games. Starting with the first one, Croatia and Brazil. Now, I have a lot of friends who are Croatian. I don't know. I think there's a big Eastern European population in Northwest Indiana. I don't know how. There just is. So I have a lot of Croatian friends, and they were the Cinderella team last year. They made it all the way to the championship, lost to France. But people thought that, you know what, they have a lot of their team back. Maybe they could be that sort of team again. But they're playing Brazil, who is the betting favorite for this World Cup. And I'm like, I picked Brazil to win it all. And I'm like, Brazil's probably going to get this one done. They had just mopped South Korea 4-1 in the round of 16. So they're playing Croatia, and literally no one could score. Croatia's goaltender was on a new level this match. Dude was absolutely insane, making save after save. I'm like, how's Brazil ever going to score? So it gets to the 120th minute, and it looks like we're just going to end up going to penalty kicks. But no, Neymar actually dribbles through everyone and scores with 2 minutes, 1 minute left in extra time. And everyone's going crazy, and you're like, that's it. They're about to win. They just got to hold off for 1 more minute, and they'll be fine. Croatia's coming down with their last chance, 117th minute. Okay, so Neymar scored in the 105th minute. In the 117th minute, Croatia comes down. I think they got a free kick or whatever, and he drilled it top corner. They tie it up at 1. And the wind is just completely sucked out of Brazil's sails, and Croatia has all the momentum and energy going into the penalty kicks. And you kind of had a feeling that they were going to win this one in penalty kicks after you give up a goal in the last minute. Basically, what ended up happening is Croatia's up by 1 in the penalties, or they were up 4-2. So Brazil had to make their kick to stay alive, and he kicked it to the left. Goalkeeper jumps to the right, and he hits the post. This just earth-shattering sound of the post. Just and it goes wide, and Brazil loses to Croatia on penalty kicks. That is a gut-wrenching loss. That is a horrible way to lose a game. You allow a goal in the last minute, then you hit the post on a wide-open net. That is an awful way to lose a game. I do feel bad for Brazil. They've been knocked out in the quarterfinals by a European team in the last 4 World Cups. So I'm pretty sure Brazil fans are tired of the same song and dance. Now, the next game was later that day was Netherlands and Argentina. And I saw somewhere that these two teams have played, they've played each other more than, any World Cup teams. I'm like, that's kind of crazy. Argentina, by the way, I think I've said this before. Argentina, and this applies equally to Mexico, but Mexico's eliminated. Argentina sends so many fans to the World Cup. Their country just will send planes full of people to the World Cup to where the stadium was damn near all Argentina fans. There were a few Netherlands fans. There was 2 rows of them right behind the goal. But it was all Argentina fans. And they pretty much rode that to an early lead. They scored in the 35th minute. Messi scored a penalty kick in the 73rd minute. They're up 2-0. It looks like they're going to win. Their goalkeeper was doing a lot of talking to this one dude on the Netherlands. Now, in the 83rd minute, they did get one back. They made it 2-1. So, near the end of the game, or what we thought would be the end of the game, Argentina's winning 2-1, and this one guy with the Netherlands has the ball. He's running. Argentina defender, slide tackle, completely takes out his legs. He does a full flip. He completely flips over. Not only that, he flips over. The Argentina defender then gets up and kicks the ball into the bench for no reason. For no reason, he kicks it into the bench. Well, the whole Netherlands bench had something to say about that, and one of the guys on the field came up, hit him from behind, boom, hit him to the ground, completely shoved him to the ground. I was laughing. Bro totally had that coming. What an asshole. Slide tackling a dude and then just firing the ball at the bench. You're not tough. I think that was a mistake because then the Netherlands got fired up. And they were attacking, and they tie the game. They tie the game at 2. And now Argentina has to go to penalty kicks. But I will say their goalie really showed out in the penalty shootout. The Netherlands really couldn't score. They tried to score some goals at the end. I think Argentina got saves on the first 2, and then it was pretty much over after that. They won the penalty shootout. So Argentina moves on. They will play Croatia next in, I don't know, can Croatia take down the other South American giant? Maybe, I don't know. They definitely have a good enough team to do so. Now, next game was Morocco and Portugal. And for the second straight game, Ronaldo was benched. Ronaldo just didn't start the game. Now, I heard 2 theories of why he was benched. The first one was, they're trying to save him for the later minutes of the game, to where, if you bring him out, he's like a super sub off the bench. We're going to bring him out. And they're and Portugal has a pretty good team besides Ronaldo. So they're we can just bring him off the bench, and he can be well rested for the end of the game when it really matters. That was the first theory. The second theory I heard was, he's not good anymore. People were saying he's just not good. Now, I don't know enough about I was playing tap baseball. So I don't know enough about soccer to have an opinion either way. I'm going to go with he just ain't that good. But so fine. That's what you're going to do, whatever. So he didn't play in the first half against Morocco. Morocco's goalkeeper was on a new level. He was on a new level against Spain. Against Spain, didn't allow any goals. Didn't even allow any in the penalty shootout. Saved all 3 in the penalty shootout. And Morocco beat Spain. which was kind of a rivalry because Morocco actually is just south of Spain. I think it's the Strait of Gibraltar. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty good at geography, but correct me if I'm wrong. But I think Spain even has like an embassy like in Morocco. There's like part of Spain is in Morocco. So that was kind of a little geographical rivalry for Morocco. Well, what country is also right next to Morocco and next to Spain? Portugal. So maybe they had that same energy, but their goalkeeper also on a new level today. Save after save. Morocco defender coming in, kicks one to the middle. Striker jumps way above the guy, heads it down and into the goal. 1-0. And then they're like, shit, maybe we should put Ronaldo in the game. Ronaldo comes out and proceeds to not do a damn thing. Was completely locked up the whole second half. Morocco's goalie just keeps making saves, and they win 1-0. Morocco is now the first ever African team to make the semifinal of a World Cup. No African team has ever made it this far. Apparently, a Caesars sports bettor bet $90K on Morocco to make the semifinal and won like $500,000. If you have enough money to just throw $90,000 on Morocco, like plus 1,000 to make the semifinal, like you just have too much money. Like what does winning that bet get you? But you know that's the team I'm pulling for. I really want Morocco to win. I'm pulling for them. Now their opponent would be decided on the winner of England and France. Now this is obviously the matchup of probably two of the best teams. I think France was ranked like 3rd in the power rankings, and England was like 5. Brazil was ranked 1. They're out. Belgium was ranked 2. They didn't even qualify. I think Argentina was 3, and then I think France was 4 and England was 5. So these are two strong teams. And France got the early goal. This one, I'm not even gonna try that name. That's too many accents and letters for me. I'm just not trying that name. But he scored. So then later in the game, Harry Kane, who I was hating on him, he ain't no good. He couldn't score against the U.S. He got tripped up in the box. Actually, on the first goal for France, Kane kind of got tripped, but they didn't call it, and France had like a big attack the other way, and they scored. But Harry Kane gets tripped up in the penalty box, so he has a kick to tie the game, and he converts it. 1-1 tie game. In the 78th minute, Oliver Giroud gets it back. I'm saying these names like I know who these people are. Gets it back. 78th minute, takes lead 2-1. Later in that game, Kane gets kicked down again. He has another penalty shot. And you're like, oh, he's probably going to get it again. Looks like we're going to have extra time. He runs up. I kid you not, kicks it 10 feet over the net. He just skies it into the stands. How are you considered the top in your sport? And this might be an ignorant take by Quincy Bell. How are you ranked top 10 in your sport? How are you considered one of the best players in your sport and you don't hit the net on a penalty kick? Like no joke, I could hit the net. I get it, he's trying to kick it in a certain spot and beat the goaltender, but come on, at least hit the net. Like, is LeBron James gonna miss the backboard on like a free throw to win the NBA Finals? I don't know. Maybe I probably sound hella ignorant right now, but I've heard other people agree. So England won the possession battle, did not win the goal battle. France moves on. So now these semifinal matchups are, they're tomorrow. Okay, sorry. Argentina plays Croatia tomorrow at 2 Eastern time. And France plays Morocco Wednesday at 2 Eastern time. Now, if I had to make a pick, I'm taking Croatia to beat Argentina because Croatia got this close to winning it all last time. And they're going to want that back badly. And really, if we're being honest, I don't think Argentina's that great. I really don't. I have not been impressed with them. They obviously lost to Saudi. That feels like a while ago, but they did lose to Saudi. Beat Mexico and Poland, two very mid teams. They beat Australia 2-1. Australia's not that great. And then they did not look, I mean, they looked good in the early game against the Netherlands. But they completely sold the end of that game with just some careless stuff. I feel like Croatia's going to shut it down and win. That's just my pick. I feel like Croatia's going to choke. I just feel like it's going to happen. Or I feel like Argentina's going to choke. I just feel that that's going to happen. For the other game, France and Morocco. Okay, I'd love to see Morocco win. I think that'd be great for an African team to make the final. That's who I'm pulling from. Pretty much everyone's pulling from Morocco. I don't know if y'all saw the street. Like, there was a video of, like, their watch party in, like, the streets of their capital. I don't know where that might be. Dude, the fans were going nuts. They were going crazy. And they actually, apparently there's a large North African population in Qatar. So they've been pulling quite a few fans. As much as I'd like to see them win, I just feel like midnight's going to hit for Cinderella. And I think France is going to win. I just think, like, okay, they beat Spain, they beat Canada, they beat Portugal, they beat Belgium, they beat Croatia, or they tied Croatia. Morocco and Croatia were in the same group. They tied 0-0. I just feel like midnight is looming for Cinderella. I'm going to take France. I think we're going to get a rematch of last year in the final. But I do hope Morocco wins. I really want to see them win. I don't want to see Argentina or France win because I like to root for teams that have never won a title. Like, because as a Cub, I know the Cubs had won a title in 1908, but like, they basically had not won a World Series. And when they won, I was so happy. So I am going to be rooting for Croatia and Morocco. I don't know. Those are my picks. Hate me if you must. Let's move on to college basketball and the week that was. Holy cow. Everyone lost. Literally everyone lost. There were very few teams that didn't lose. The only teams that I think didn't lose were Purdue, Virginia. I'm talking about ranked teams. Purdue, Virginia, UConn, Alabama, Tennessee, Kansas, Arizona, and like Arkansas. Everyone else lost. There were so many teams that lost. Let's start on Monday. Okay, on Monday there wasn't much. Gonzaga beat Kent State. San Diego State beat Troy. On Tuesday, Illinois was playing Texas in the Jimmy V Classic, and Texas had a lead in this game late, and it looked like they were going to pretty much cruise to a win. They were up 10 with 8 minutes. They were up like 6 with like a few minutes to go. Illinois just kept making baskets, and they tied the game and basically controlled all of overtime. Terrence Shannon had like 4 points in regulation. He had like 9 in overtime. Completely took over, and Illinois grabs victory from the jaws of defeat. As for other ranked teams, later in said Jimmy V Classic, the late game was Iowa and Duke, and Iowa was a little bit outmatched in this one. Duke definitely controlling from the tip, and they ran with it. 74-62. Duke clearly the better team in that one. Maryland had to play at Wisconsin. Maryland was undefeated, but they ain't played nobody, so they gonna get tested. I hate it when people I hate it when people do that, when they're like, they ain't played nobody. This is more of a college football thing. Like, a team will have blown out a ton of nobodies, but they don't have any games against. It's mostly SEC fans, because they think that in order to, be good, you have to play a top 5 team every week, and most SEC teams don't even do that. But it's like, but they ain't played nobody. It's like, okay, well, your team almost lost to a nobody. They blew them out. Like shut up. But Wisconsin did beat Maryland 64-59. It was a home game for Wisconsin. I had a feeling they would win this one. Defensive battle, and Wisconsin takes it. Some other teams beat up on some nobodies. So not much there. Wednesday, Indiana played Nebraska. Me and Eddie were at this game, and Trace Jackson Davis actually dropped the 3rd ever triple-double in IU history. That was fun. this was the best game I had seen IU play all year. They were up 20-5 out the gate and just held it the whole game. Nebraska did get it. Here's the thing. Nebraska did come back a little bit. They did get it to within 4, I think. I think it was 4. It was 48-41. They got it to 7. And then IU immediately went on a run. They immediately opened it back up, and it was 56-41 in the blink of an eye. Tamar Bates shot the lights out. He had 19. Galloway had 20. The line for Davis was 12 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists. They did try to get him that 10th assist. They were really trying to, pass it around and get him that assist, but they did get it. So congratulations to Trace. IU 8-1, coming up with the big matchup against Arizona, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Purdue beat Hofstra. They're going to act like they're a top 10. They're going to act like Hofstra's an elite team. Yeah, the only thing Hofstra's good at is their sports media program. I was thinking about going there, but I'm like, I don't want to go to a little school in the Northeast. Screw that. But shout out Hofstra. Tennessee beat the soul and will to live out of Eastern Kentucky. And UConn going on the road at Florida, a pretty long travel from Connecticut, and a road game, hostile environment, and completely took care of business and won by 21. So I don't know if you can ask for much more out of UConn. Florida was actually projected to win this one on the FPI or the BPI ESPN predictor, but nope. UConn takes care of business. Thursday, this Ohio State-Rutgers game had a lot of people up in arms. This game had a ton of people up in arms. Okay, I'm gonna show y'all. Look at the win Look at how close that game trend is. Literally, I think there were 20 lead changes. It's like Rutgers up by 1, Ohio State up by 1, Rutgers up by 1. The whole game. And they're like, it's probably going to come down to who has the ball last. So Rutgers is up. They're up 2 in the waning seconds. And Ohio State, they inbound it with 5 seconds. Players running up the baseline. And Rutgers is all on them. They got this really good defense. Pump fakes, they jump for it. Gets off a kind of contested 3 and drills it for the win. Completely drains this shot. I stepped out of bounds. Everyone's up in arms. So they zoom in on the camera, and it looks like his heel is a little bit above the line. But this is what I saw. I see his heel above the line, but not on the line. To me, it looked like he was in. Because it looked like he was above the line but not touching it. And they did review it. And the refs came to the same conclusion. I think Rutgers fans crying about the refs is hilarious. Hilarious compared to the home reffing they got against IU. Just to see them complain was pretty funny. I kind of thought Rutgers would get exposed on the road. Rutgers is kind of a home-only team, but you know what? They held their own on the road. So I'll give them credit, but I'm pretty sure that dude was inbounds. I don't know if you saw what I was talking about, but he looked inbounds to me.
I don't think so. I'll look it up here real quick, but I did hear talks about it. I heard the game was pretty controversial, but I didn't know why. So here, let me look it up real quick.
Yeah, he looked inbounds to me.
Let me see.
Maybe I'm remembering wrong. I'm gonna get another look.
Here, you go ahead and keep going. I'll watch this real quick and I'll
so the next game was Iowa State and Iowa. Cyhawk rivalry, big in-state rivalry. And not only did Iowa win this game, Iowa won. That's self-explanatory. Not only did Iowa win, they at one point were up 25-4 out of the gate. I've seen this pattern with Iowa State where they will have games where they just can't score, man. They just can't score. They will consistently have games in the 50s. I have no idea if Iowa State's a good team or not. I have no idea. Because they will go out and they will beat good teams. And then they'll go out and just lose to okay, during the COVID year, Iowa State went 2-22. And then the next year, they had a good, their record looked good, but they had a losing record in the Big 12. They went 7-13 in the Big 12. But they made the tournament because I think they were undefeated out of conference. But I'm like, they're gonna get exposed in the tournament. They haven't beaten any good teams. And then they just went out and made the Sweet 16. They just went out and beat top 10 Wisconsin. Just beat Wisconsin. And they beat, who else did they beat? They were an 11 seed. They beat another good team. I'm blanking. I can't remember. I think they beat Ohio State. But I have no idea whether or not Iowa State's a good team or not. And I never will. I never will have an idea.
Okay, so I just reviewed the footage, and so before he gets the ball, he's blatantly out of bounds.
But that's fine, though.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And so I did my own little play-by-play kind of thing. I'm pretty sure that's when he touches the ball. To me, that's when he touches the ball.
Yeah, he looks in bounds to me.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Want to show him. So he catches the ball.
So to me, this is when he catches the ball.
You got to switch the camera, I think.
No. This is it.
Is it?
Oh wait, no. Shoot, no, it isn't. Yeah, you're right.
He catches he looked in bounds to me.
To me, it's poor production quality. I know, but
to me, he's in bounds.
To me, this is when he touches the ball.
I'm saying he's in bounds,
and his toe is in bounds right there. And his left foot is obviously in the air, so it wouldn't have counted there.
Rutgers fans just have no room to talk. They got the biggest home ref game against IU. Friday games, there was only one. Gonzaga played Washington. In-state rivalry. Gonzaga handled them pretty easily, 77-60. Saturday, oh my God, the carnage that happened on Saturday. First game, before I even woke up, I didn't even know these teams were playing. Penn State and Illinois. From what I've heard from Penn State, is they like shooting that three. They shoot that three quite a bit. They currently have a loss to Clemson and Virginia Tech and Michigan State. They're on the road at Illinois, and they handled them, man, 74-59 from historically one of the worst teams in the Big Ten. Shut down defense and made the shots when they needed to. They went on a big run halfway through the second half. I was surprised by this. I really think Illinois is a contender. I've been on the Illinois train. I think IU is the best team in the Big Ten. They're the preseason Big Ten favorite. Oh, Purdue. They lost. They beat UCLA. They lost to Virginia. Whatever. But I thought Illinois is definitely one of the best teams. Lost to Maryland on the road, but then they beat Texas, and they lost to Penn State. They have a good record, and they're ranked 18th still in the new AP poll. 0-2 in conference play. There are only 3 teams that are 0-2 in conference play, and that is Illinois, Nebraska, and Minnesota. So they're going to have some work to do if they want to contend for a Big Ten title. They're a little bit behind the 8 ball. It's 2 games. It's not that big of a deal. But I will say, I looked at IU's schedule, and the Big Ten is a gauntlet. It's a fucking gauntlet. It's crazy. But Penn State, do I have to worry about IU playing Penn State now? Do I? I don't want to. UConn put up 114 points on Long Island. It's Long Island. Whatever. It's hard to put up 100 on anyone. They put up 114. So, good for them. Texas beat the shit out of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Arkansas won a close game against Oklahoma, 88-78. Good for them. Kind of a rivalry, I guess. Kentucky with a resounding 10-point win over Yale. Yeah, they did not look good. They just didn't look good. Oscar Tshiebwe is carrying that team. He had 28 points. and 12 rebounds. He's just a walking double-double. Not even a walking. He's a walking 15 and 15. I mean, the dude has to do literally everything. Alabama and Houston. Houston ranked number 1. Alabama ranked number 8. I thought 8 was a little high for Bama. But they went out and against Houston, and this game was close in the half, but Houston opened it up at the start. It was at Houston. Houston opened it up at the start of the second half. They had a pretty sizable lead, 44-29. Well, Alabama crawling back, and they finally tie it up with 3 minutes to go in the second half. And that was all. They took over from that. They made their shots that they needed to. They made their free throws. And they win it 71-65. Now, I saw Alabama play North Carolina. I didn't watch it. I didn't get to watch any of this game. From what I saw, I didn't think Alabama was a great team. But to come back on the road against the number 1 team, they might be pretty good. They're currently ranked 4 in the AP poll. That seems extremely generous. I think there are definitely 4 teams. There are definitely at least 7 teams I could say that are better than them. Oh, they beat the number 1 ranked team twice. Yeah, well, that one number 1 ranked team is sitting at what, 6-4? North Carolina. But they are a good team. They're a legitimate top 10 team. From what their resume says. Okay, we need to talk about Purdue and Nebraska. Because I watched this game. I watched the whole second half of this game. I'm just going to get this out of the way right now. This is not me being biased for IU because I hate Purdue. I watched that game, okay? I watched that game at Nebraska. I saw 2 bad teams playing. I saw 2 bad teams. We know Nebraska's not good. They went 4-16 in the Big Ten. Now they're a little bit better this year. But again, a team IU completely embarrassed and beat the soul and the will to live out of. I saw 2 bad teams. It is Zach Edey and 4 nobodies. 4 nobodies. Oh, Fletcher Lawyer dropped 22. Yeah, well, he needed he went 9. He was taking every shot in the game. Purdue opened up a big lead in this one. In the second half, they're up 45-31. And they just let Nebraska come back. At one point, Purdue scored 12 points in 15 minutes because they couldn't fathom giving the ball to their 7'4" big men that doesn't have to jump to block shots. I gained a lot of respect for Zach Edey watching this game because he has to do everything. He literally has to do everything. There was a point in time where Nebraska was down 1. Nebraska was down 1 with a minute to go. Nebraska put up a shot, missed. Got their own rebound, put up a shot, missed. Rebound falls into Fletcher Lawyer's hands and just drops it out of bounds. Nebraska gets the ball back. They put up a shot, they miss. And Purdue drops it out of bounds. They get the ball back. They put up a shot, they miss. They get the rebound. They put up a shot, they miss. They get the rebound, they put up a shot, they miss. Finally, Zach Edey comes down with a rebound. Passes it out with like 5 seconds. And they foul him. Okay, Purdue's about to win by 1 point. They make both their free throws. So Nebraska's going to come down. They get a 3. They hand it back to Keisei Tominaga, who really was hitting threes left and right in this second half. He willed them back into this game. Fades away from the corner and drills it. Completely hits the shot, and they're going to overtime. I mean, just if y'all are free, watch the final minute of that game. It was lunacy. The fight was lunacy. No one knew how to do anything. I mean, it was crazy. And then they go out in overtime, and neither one of them can make a shot. Ultimately, Purdue hit a 3, I think, to go up 59. Or no, they got fouled, made 1 of 2 free throws. And they were up 62-60 They made their free throws at the end, and Nebraska couldn't get the three to tie again. Purdue is damn lucky to get away with to get away with a win in this game. Damn lucky. Zach Edey literally has to do everything for that team. No one else on that team is good. I'm sorry. Who else is even on their team? I'm gonna look at stats right now because I feel bad for him. I really do. No one else does anything. Fletcher Lawyer averages 13. Braden Smith, that dude is garbage. Caleb First, also trash. Mason Gill, no one could make a shot. No one could make a shot. It was crazy. I mean, and this is the number one. And this team with one player and 4 people that can't do a damn thing is the number one team in the country. The number one team in the country. How? I don't know how you look at that game and say, oh, yeah, that's the best team in the country. How do you do that? How do you do that? I think based on resume, I would put Purdue in the top 4. But they are not the best team in the country. They are just not. I said if IU beat Arizona, I would put IU ahead of it. Because IU just has looked better. Now, we will talk about IU in their game against Arizona. But who else played? Who else played? UCLA beat Denver. Good job. St. Mary's took down San Diego State. I'm telling you, St. Mary's is always a tough team to play. They're whenever there's a good white player in football, like Cooper Kupp, they're like, he has high motor skills. He's sneaky athletic. He plays the game the right way. That's just like all that they say. That's what St. Mary's does. They play suffocating defense, and they make their shots when they need to. And they beat San Diego State, a very good San Diego State team, a San Diego State team that I'm high on. 7-3. They're still, they're not ranked. I'm surprised San Diego State's not ranked. I would have them ranked. I think they're good enough to be ranked. They whooped Ohio State. They lost to Arizona and lost to Arkansas in overtime. I think San Diego State should be in the top 25. I make my own poll. I've yet to make it. I run an IU page, Indiana Express. I make a poll every week. I will be making one, and I will have San Diego State in there because they're a good team. Auburn. People were yelling at me in my poll because I had Auburn a little high. I had them at 8, I think. It's like they had a struggle win against St. Louis, struggle win against Northwestern. But I'm like, St. Louis is a pretty good team. And, I mean, okay, whatever. I'm like, they're undefeated. And a lot of teams are undefeated. They lost to Memphis. And they got completely outplayed by Memphis. A Memphis team that is mostly just full of young recruits that have been paid off by Penny Hardaway. I forgot that's legal now. But yeah, 82-73. Is Memphis ranked now? They're not. They play at Alabama this upcoming game. That should be a good game. But yeah, completely got outplayed by a very young team. That would be concerning if I was Auburn. I'm definitely tanking them in my poll. And the AP agreed. They dropped them all the way down to 19. They dropped 8 spots. Who else played? Kansas played Missouri. A Missouri team that was somehow 9-0. I literally had no idea how they were 9-0. I know y'all don't like that. They don't play nobody. Well, they really hadn't played nobody. Southern Indiana by 6. Penn by 7. Yeah, they really hadn't played anyone. But they're playing their biggest rival, Kansas. That, regardless, that's their biggest rival. And they have it on their home court. So you're like, oh, might have a chance. They got smashed by 28. Yeah, this was a blowout from the moment the ball got tipped off. Kansas with a resounding and dominating win. I would not want to play Kansas. Oh, wait, we have to play Kansas. Oh, man.
You kind of forgot an important detail there.
No, I knew that. That was I was like, I don't want to play Kansas. Wait, we got to play Kansas. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about IU. I got a little concerned watching this game. Now, Jalen Hood-Schifino did not play. You can list that as a reason as to why IU lost. It should not be the sole reason why you lose. I'm in a lot of group chats with IU fan pages and people that like IU. They were all, oh, JHS didn't play. Oh, he didn't do that. Your performance should not rely on a freshman being. You have 3 seniors at start. You should not rely on a freshman to be that big of a he's a great player. But there are other guys on the team. You should not be relying on one player to carry you to wins, especially not a freshman. Okay, Arizona dominates the start of this game. Did you watch this game at all?
I watched a little bit of it. I was able to get, a little bit of it. I didn't get all of it, though.
I watched the whole game.
I got the first half in. So.
Okay. IU got smoked out of the gate. They could not do anything. Arizona was moving the ball and completely outplaying IU. Like, the thing is, IU's a better defensive team than they are offensively. Their defense got exposed. They just flat out got exposed. Arizona, I don't think, is a single starter from the United States. They have a guy from Estonia, Lithuania, the DRC, which is, I think, where Oscar Shiwa is from, Democratic Republic of the Congo. They had a guy from Sweden. All these foreign guys completely exposing IU. But IU, they crawled back. They definitely came back a little bit in this game. I've been yelling at Race Thompson, stop shooting threes. You're not a guard. You're not a guard. Stop shooting threes. He had one. He had a play wide open for 3. I'm like, all right, fine. Shoot it. You're wide open. He hits it. Came down the court, next possession. Wide open again. Hits it again. Few possessions later. Open again. Hits it again. I've never seen Race shoot that well from 3. But you know what? Someone's got to score. And IU pulled it together. The whole second half is Arizona would go on a run. IU would go on a run, close the lead. Arizona would go on a run. IU would go on a run. It'd be like IU would be down 4, then they'd be down 10. Then they'd be down 4, down 3, then they'd be down 10. It was so annoying to watch. I hate those games. I hate it when you're down in the second half and you spend the whole second half coming back, and you just can't get the extra base. It's so annoying to watch. I don't think this was a 14-point game. The scoreboard says 14. IU lost by 14 points. It was like a 5-point game with like 5 minutes. I mean, Arizona kind of ran up the score at the end of the game. But I was concerned watching this game. IU did not play well. I mean, they shot 10 of 25 from 3. They shot well from 3. Tamar Bates looked like trash. My God. That dude was awful in the first half. And played for 20. Woodson just like kept him out there. Oh, Tamar Bates is out there shooting like he's Kobe and missing every shot. Oh, let's keep him out there for 28 minutes. He played horribly. Bates kind of got it together in the second half. I might be a little harsh on him. He finished with 13 points, but he turned the ball over a ton. It doesn't have turnovers on here. I wish it had turnovers, but Bates just didn't look very well. Galloway kind of got put in a box, 4 points. He only took 5 shots. Race went 4 of 7 from 3. Cop went 4 of 8. But yeah, I mean, the defense just got blitzed. They just got blitzed. Arizona did whatever they whenever they wanted on offense. The starters need to step it up for IU because here's the thing. IU could beat teams with depth. They have some of the best depth in the country. Like their bench, your starters are TJD, Cop, X, Ray. Whether or not you think Ray should be starting, he's starting now. And JHS when healthy. Now, a theory I've heard. I don't want to make accusations. This is just a rumor. This has no proof. I want to disclaim this right now. I have no proof that this is true. This is just a rumor that I've heard. JHS is not playing because his grades are bad. That's what someone told me. I'm not saying that's true. I hope it's not true. That's just something I've heard. Because they're like, oh, don't you think it's a little suspicious how, like, they say his back is hurt, and then, like, they say he might play, and then, oh, he doesn't play. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he actually has something going on with his back, and they don't want to ruin him for the late season, because the late season is really when it's going to be won and lost. I'm going to say that that is not true. But it's just something that I've heard. It has no legitimacy to it. But I figured I would just throw it out there. But yeah, because they're like, you never see people report that their grades are... All right, whatever. I'm done. But, like, okay, the team should not live and die by JHS. It just should not happen. It just should not happen. Like, I don't understand why one freshman being out is life and death for the team. Now, like I said, their next game is at Kansas. I think we can beat Kansas. I don't think this is a game where I'm saying, oh, no chance they win. It is at Kansas. It is going to be a tough game. I will not be of course, I'm obviously not going to be surprised if they lose. They're not expected to win. The BPI is being kind of generous with 40% for IU. I don't know. Kansas, I mean, they've looked okay this year. IU does not have a game this week besides Kansas on Saturday. So they can spend a lot of time saying, hey, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do that, and that, and that. To where I think they can be prepared. Kansas also doesn't have a game this week, so they can do the same thing. I don't know. I need to see, I would like to see improvement because I've been a little disappointed in these last three games. Our last three games were Rutgers, Nebraska, Arizona. You can't be, you have to perform on the road. I know it was a neutral site game. Whatever. You're across the entire country in Las Vegas. I need to see a better fight on the road because it's like at home, they hustle, they do great, they make good passes, they get out in transition, they do everything right at home. On the road, like Arizona just was outrunning IU in that game. That should not happen to a team with better depth. I don't know. I hopefully they will get up for this Kansas game because I don't know. I feel like they just didn't get up for that. I hate saying they didn't want it enough because that's really not. Like if you ever see a team, oh, the other team wanted it more. Okay, no, that's not how that works. Like the other team wants to win. You could say they really got. Like you will hear me say they will get up for this game, but like it's not because. Yeah, you know what, man? We're gonna lose to Arizona and then beat Kansas. We're only. No, it's not how that happens. But it's like Arizona just outran them in the game. Like when they needed to, they outran them. That doesn't happen when IU plays at home. When they play at home, they're running out teams. Like I love the way they hustle. I love the way IU hustles. But I don't know, didn't see it this game. Didn't see it. Their upcoming game, they got Kansas, okay. If I had to pick right now, I would not pick IU to win. I think Kansas will beat them. It is hard as hell to win at Kansas. That is a hard place to win at. They have two cupcake games, Elon and Kennesaw State over break on the 20th and the 23rd. Then they're at Iowa the 5th. And then Big Ten play starts. They got Iowa. Northwestern's a cupcake game, but Penn State, Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan State, Minnesota, Ohio State, and Maryland. That's their January. I would like to see IU win the Big Ten. I think that'd be great. But there are things that need to be improved upon. I'm not too concerned because, like I said, a lot of teams are losing right about now. But I don't know. That Arizona game was just concerning. They just kind of got blown out. I really don't know what to say. I've been on the bench race routine. I mean, he had a good game. But like, can you rely on him shooting 4 of 7 from 3 every night? No, you just can't. I don't know. I hope JHS is back for this Kansas game. I'm going to look up the status. I probably should have done this before. Let me see. But like it's so inconsistent, the updates that they give. They're like, oh, JHS expected to play against Arizona. Then, oh, he might play. And, oh, now he's not playing. Like, I don't think JHS being out is a good excuse for losing to Rutgers in Arizona. I just don't think it is. Other people have to. Other people have to step up. Will Jalen Hood-Schifino return for Indiana basketball versus number 10 Arizona? No. I don't know. I hope he's okay. I hope he's okay, and I hope that whole grade thing is just not true. I don't think it's true. I think he's fine. I think they're just being cautious because they don't want to completely screw up his back for the late season. I'm going to believe that is actually what is going on. Were there any other games? Oh, BYU beat Creighton. Yeah, good for BYU. How's BYU doing? They're 6-5. They lost to Utah Valley again. Wow. I remember last year BYU was ranked in the top 10 and lost to Utah Valley. And like that's the greatest win in the history of the Utah Valley program. The Utah Valleys, they had one guy that was kind of carrying them in that game. And then he transferred. He's playing at Texas Tech, Fardwas Amak, or I don't know how to say his name. It's like an Arabic name. They beat BYU again. They beat him on the road this time, without their best player. Interesting. But yeah, they beat him. TCU beat SMU. TCU has by far the worst loss out of anyone this year, losing to Northwestern State by 1 at home. Northwestern State is a bottom 50 team in college basketball. There are 350 teams in college basketball. But TCU has looked great since then. Beat Iowa, Providence. Also, TCU had 2 players out for those games. I think they're back now. Yeah, and TCU's got some easier opponents coming up. Mississippi Valley State, Utah. Utah did beat Arizona. They have some easier opponents coming up. What else? Sunday, any games? Oh yeah, there were some games Sunday. Tennessee beat Maryland 56-53. That was a good game. Two good teams. Like I watched that. I watched a little bit of that game, and I saw 2 good teams. A lot of good defense in that game. Tennessee holds on for the win. This game was in Brooklyn, I believe. Yeah, Iowa State beat McNeese. Like I said, I have no idea whether Iowa State should be in the top 10 or the bottom 50. I have no idea. And Mississippi State stays undefeated with a win at Minnesota, 69-51. Mississippi State is undefeated. And they actually have some decent wins. They beat Marquette. They beat Utah. They beat Omaha by 20. They have a win on the road at Minnesota. Like, they have some good wins. They really have some good wins, but they're ranked 17. The AP poll, for those that care about it, Purdue number 1. What the fuck are we doing? That's just no. Virginia number 2, that's fair. Virginia has struggled with some teams, like they almost lost to a 2-9 Florida State. So did Purdue. And then they only beat James Madison by 5, but I mean, you know what? It is what it is. They're still undefeated. UConn at 3. I would have UConn at number 1. They haven't even had a close game yet. They have had 0 close games. Every game they've won by like 10 or 20. They have not had a close game yet. Bama at 4 seems a little high. Houston at 5 seems a little high. Tennessee at 6. I would put them at 3. Texas is at 7 and Texas 7, Kansas 8, Arizona 9. All 3 of those teams should be, instead of 7, 8, 9, those 3 teams should be 4, 5, 6. And Purdue goes at 7 below all of them. All of those teams would beat Purdue. These 4 one-loss teams, Tennessee, Texas, Kansas, and Arizona, all 4 of them are better than Purdue. That's just my opinion. I think all 4 of them are better than Purdue. Arkansas at 10, they still have the 1 loss. They're looking all right. Baylor, now you have a plethora of 2-loss teams. Baylor is at 11, Duke 12, Kentucky 13, IU 14. I'm amazed IU didn't fall. I thought for sure. Not only did IU not fall, Arizona only got up 1 spot for winning that game. Like, how? I don't understand how Arizona only got up 1 spot for that. Especially because teams ahead of them lost. I really don't get that. Gonzaga is at 15, UCLA 16, Mississippi State 17, Auburn 19, Maryland 20. That seems low for Maryland. 8-2. I mean, their 2 losses are to 2 good teams. They have the win against Illinois. I don't know. I think that seems low for Maryland. TCU at 21, also seeming a little bit low. Wisconsin at 22, Ohio State 23. Virginia Tech is at 10-1. They also beat North Carolina. Who hasn't? They mopped Dayton. My God, how's Dayton doing? Dayton was ranked in the preseason. They're 5-5. Man. Lost to Wisconsin by 1. Lost to UNLV. Lost to NC State. Lost to BYU. Tough road for Dayton right now. And then Miami is at 25. Me personally, I think Miami should be higher. Because Miami made the Elite 8 last year, and they were a legitimate team. They got Nigel Pack, that good dude from Kansas State. And they have some good wins. They beat Rutgers. They kind of got beaten the hell up by Maryland. But, they're 10-1 with a really good roster, and they've been playing really well. I think they should be a lot higher than 25. That's just me. They play St. Francis, and then they got a date with Virginia. Interesting. Who else received votes? Memphis got a lot of votes. I'm surprised Memphis isn't ranked. I thought maybe they would put him in. Memphis got the most votes of teams that aren't ranked. Charleston, 64 votes. They're 10-1. They have that 1 loss for Virginia Tech. That was Charleston. Yeah, who else is getting votes? Marquette, Iowa State, Arizona State, UNLV, Xavier, Iowa. I'm surprised Iowa only got 25 votes. I figured they'd get more. West Virginia, St. Mary's, Texas Tech. San Diego State only got 14 votes to be ranked. They are sleeping on San Diego State, in my opinion. Utah got 12. Creighton got 11. Kansas State got 2. Okay. I mean, pretty fair. IU dropped 5 spots in the coaches poll, but they didn't drop any in the AP poll. That's crazy. I really thought they would just throw them through the floor. Do we talk about NFL? I mean, I got 4 minutes left, but sure. We can talk about NFL. I have to. I'm doing this while Eddie's not here, so he can't clown on me. I think I'm going to have to put the Jimmy G top 10 quarterback take. I might have to put it 6 feet under. Because Brock Purdy looked way better than Jimmy Garoppolo basically has ever had. Actually, Brock Purdy only went 16 of 21 passing. I don't know. Everyone's like, Brock Purdy's doing the same damn thing Jimmy Garoppolo is doing. So maybe I'm wrong. But San Francisco beat the hell out of the Bucs. 35-7, jeez. The Texans almost beat the Cowboys. That would have been funny, but it did not happen. Yeah, they really had the winning percentage up in that game. Welsh. Oh, Baker Mayfield is back. And back with a vengeance. He was down 16-3 to the Raiders and just scored 2 touchdowns. at the end of the game to win. The Raiders are just in shambles. They're just not a good team. The Eagles put up 48 on the Giants. Jesus. Crazy stuff. Let's talk about bowl games. I'm going to just kind of speed through. I always spend way too much time talking about college basketball. Because this is my favorite sport to talk about, is college basketball. I can't wait until we do our shows in March. Because I'll actually be making a bracket. Eddie will make his
breakdown of the entire tournament. Will be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. In March, we will be talking about 0 other sports other than college basketball. I just want to get that out there.
At that point, what other sports is there to talk about, though?
Facts. I like college baseball.
Unless you want to talk about baseball or like wrestling or something like that.
Eddie hates baseball I don't know why. Actually, he doesn't hate baseball. Actually, no, Johnny hates baseball. Johnny's like, it's such a boring sport. Yeah, I don't like people like that. For the games Friday, I'll take UAB over Miami of Ohio. They're favored by 11. And I will take UTSA over Troy in the Cure Bowl. There are 6 games Saturday. I will take Cincinnati over Louisville in the Fenway Bowl. Oh, imagine you're hoping to go to like the Bahamas or like some southern city for like a nice bowl game to end your year. Yeah, you get to go to Boston. Have fun with that. Florida and Oregon State. Oregon State kind of got shafted with their bowl bid. The Las Vegas Bowl for a 9-3 team ranked 14. What's that mean where it's like Oregon State applying for bowl? So nobody want me? Ain't nobody want me? They played in the Las Vegas Bowl last year and lost. I think they win. They're better than Florida. Fresno State and Washington State in the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl presented by Sitfel. I hate these bowl names, dude. So long. I will take Fresno State. Right. Hold on. A 5-7 Rice made a bowl game? What the fuck? Really? A 5-7 Rice made a bowl? That's crazy, man. You're telling me there wasn't a 5-6 Big Ten team you could have got? You took Rice? Bro, I got some questions for the Lending Tree Bowl. Is it like they have to, like I know certain bowls have conference tie-ins. Did they have to take what are they in, Conference USA? I don't know. I think Southern Miss will beat them. SMU and BYU, the Methodists versus the Mormons in the New Mexico Bowl. That'll be a sneaky good game. I will take SMU. I think they're better. And then Boise State, North Texas in the Frisco Bowl. I will take Boise State. And then on Monday, Marshall and UConn. Yes, UConn made a bowl. That is unfathomable to think about. How did UConn make a bowl? They lost to Okay, if you look at their 6 wins, you kind of see why they made a bowl. They beat Central Connecticut, Fresno State, FIU, Boston College, UMass. They beat Liberty? Okay, good for them. Beat Liberty. They lost to Army. Oh, the Army-Navy game happened. I didn't watch any of it, but Army won in double overtime. Am I the only one that just doesn't really like watching that isn't a big fan of the Army-Navy game? Like, I'll watch it on occasion, but it's like 2 teams that don't pass the ball. Like, I get it. It's important. It's supposed to be the best rivalry. But like, they play a week after everyone for like respect to the troops, but like, it's just not an enjoyable game to watch, in my opinion. I just don't find that much in Xavier Airline, final passing stats, 1 of 1 for 25 yards and a touchdown. Arby's QB went 2 of 10 for 28 yards. But yeah, they run the option. They run the ball. Sometimes it's a fun game to watch. It went to overtime, and Army won. It's also fun because that's the only game that matters for their season. They go 1-10 but beat Navy, and that's all they care about.
Caleb Williams won the Heisman.
So undeservingly so. So undeserved. Oh, my God. And the fact that he got up there, I was like, I'm the only one not playing in the playoff. Who gives a fuck? God, I hate him. I hate him. Should have been Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker would have had my vote. He got 5th. How did Hendon Hooker not even get invited to the high? How did Stetson Bennett get it? Literally, I could throw checkdowns to 5-star receivers. Sorry, I said it. I said it. Max Duggan deserved it over Caleb Williams. Max Duggan or Hendon Hooker should have won it. The fact that Hendon Hooker didn't even get invited is kind of a crime. C.J. Stroud would have won it if he didn't blow that game against Michigan. But yeah, completely undeservedly so. Caleb Williams should not have won the Heisman, but Heisman voting's a joke, and it always has been, and it always will be. Wilson Contreras is a St. Louis Cardinal. God, that makes me want to gouge my eyes out with spoons. I think we're going to end it there. I'm already past time. My bad. But that's going to be it for this semester, man. You know what? For the first semester, I think we did a good job. We're planning to do 8 semesters, or at least I am. I don't know about Eddie. I am planning to do 8 semesters of Bloomington Buddies. 8, because 8 semesters of college. That is what I hope for. And we have almost 100 subscribers on YouTube. That is great. I don't know if we're at like 96 or something. We'll probably get there before the new year. We are going to try to improve next semester, as in whether that be, not oversleeping when your buddy shows up by himself. But you know what? We will try to do better next semester. That's something I like to try to say on my YouTube channel is every year I try to get better. Like I said, everyone's got classes and stuff, but you know what? I'm excited for what we can do. First episode next semester, I don't know, previewing the national championship, previewing Georgia TCU. I'm kidding. But it'll be fun. But yeah, I will see y'all around next semester.